Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Did you enjoy your long weekend?
I did, very
Great.
much so. Yep.
And
Hope
actually,
you did as well.
yeah, while we're speaking about it, I would just like to say thank you to all of our veterans. We certainly remembered you on Memorial Day, and we hope that you all had a blessed long weekend as well. And
Yeah.
with that being said, let's get into the news. So I'd like to start off with something that I've been kind of following on and off for the past couple of months. It has to do actually with the Israeli government. So I think about a month ago, Israel had their elections. And again, it kind of ended in a stalemate. Benjamin Netanyahu's party lost a few seats, and a few other seats were given to a whole range of other parties. It's confusing to get too into the weeds with it. But the news that happened this week is that a number of some of the smaller opposition parties in Israel said on Sunday that they would seek to form a coalition government together, which would oust Benjamin Netanyahu from his prime minister position if it is passed. So they put this little presentation together, and then they have to give it to Israel's president, Reuven Rivlin, who has to approve it. And then from there, a coalition government is finally formed, meaning Israel won't have to go to another election like they've had to do for the past couple of years. And like I said, Benjamin Netanyahu would lose his position as prime minister. Now, Netanyahu himself challenged the bid, but he was rejected today, unfortunately. And the story is that one of the opposing leaders, Naftali Bennett of the conservative Yamina party, announced that he would join a proposed alliance with centrist opposition leader Yair Lapid of the Yesh Atid party, along with 6 other minor parties. So all of them together forms 61 seats of the 120-seat Knesset, which is Israel's parliamentary government. And so because they only have 61 of the 120, that is the slimmest of slim majorities. And what that pretty much means is if they lose one person, if one person defects from the deal, then the deal's gone. So Benjamin Netanyahu remains prime minister, and then likely Israel will go to another election for their Knesset cabinet. So that's the news in that so far.
Yeah.
Other news that's been up on FISM.tv/news, another new variant of the COVID-19 virus has been discovered in Vietnam. Now, obviously, this is a very characteristic thing of viruses to come up with variants, so this really isn't a worrying thing. It's more of just an informational thing. And scientists have been looking into it. They're still investigating it, but they believe that the variant is a combination of both the British and Indian variants previously discovered. And that actually reminds me, the WHO also announced today that they decided they're not going to name the variants and the coronavirus itself after the locations where they're from, because they don't want to stigmatize those locations. So instead of calling them British and Indian variants, they're going to call them by their more technical names, I suppose. So that coming out of the WHO this morning. Other news up on FISM.tv/news. Married Chinese couples, this is actually very interesting. They may have up to 3 children now, according to an announcement from China on Monday. So obviously, Beijing got rid of the decades-old one-child policy in 2016. They replaced it with a 2-child limit, and now it is up to a 3-child limit. So,
Well, that's great news for abortion, that's for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's a great news for families. China coming to the realization that they have an aging population, and they need to, and they're having a huge problem with this in Japan as well, with nobody having, people just not getting married and having children.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good news.
It's very good news.
It's
Yeah,
good news,
and like you said, actually, the reason they upped it was because they saw the rapidly aging population as sort of a risk, and they don't want there to be such a big gap in between those generations. And like you said as well, that is wonderful news for abortion. It is still unfortunate that there is still a limit. We hope that one day that will go away, and we won't have to see any more babies getting killed unnecessarily like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And other news up on the FISM.tv/news website. Andy No, who is an independent journalist that we sometimes refer to when we're looking up information on the riots. He does a lot of coverage on Antifa. He looks into a lot of the BLM riots, especially from last year up until now. He's been a really great source for what's going on there. He unfortunately got, we assume, he has not confirmed it yet, but he was supposedly discovered by members of an Antifa group at a riot in Portland, Oregon last Friday. And it was reported that he was beaten and chased out, as Antifa typically does. They chase people away that they don't want there. So, like I said, he has yet to confirm this, but we hope that he is doing well and we we hope that he can continue to cover the riots as he has been doing so excellent.
Wow.
Go to FISM.tv/news for more.